Hello parents, I'm Mr. How are you? I was a former MOE teacher and also was a former PSLE Section B or open-ended marker. Today I'd like to share with you my experience in marking the PSLE, and I'd like to let you know how the PSLE Science Examination is being tested. For example, like for each level like P3, P4, P5, P6, what are the weightage of each questions, and also in general how we can prepare the PSLE examination well. So do stay in tune, and I'm going to do a screen sharing here. As you can see over here, I just uploaded, this is the last year 2025 PSLE Science Examination questions. So the total time taken is 1 hour and 45 minutes. And I've already categorized all the questions according to the level. For example, due to the time constraint, I'll just scroll down quickly, and later I'll do a tabulation for you to see the overall picture. So these are P3, P6, P3 questions, and each questions are 2 marks. P5, P3, P5, 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 P4, P5, P6, P5, P6, P5. I also have a color coded. As you can see, P5 is in blue color, P6 is in red color, and then P4 is in black color. P4, quite a number of P4 questions in a row, 3 in a row in fact. And P5, electrical circuit question. P6, P5, P4, P4, P5, P6, P6. So you notice usually after questions number 24 onwards are P6 questions, and this P5, P6. And this is a summary, the analysis of the 2025 PSLE Science MCQ. So in MCQ, there are a total of 28 questions. So there are 3 questions from P3 content, 6 questions from P4, 11 questions from P5 content, and 8 questions from P6 content. So from here, I have analyzed for you. Can you see the majority of the questions are P5? Why that is so? Because P5 is considered the first year of the upper primary, and in fact I've told parents many times P5 content is more extensive. The reason is very simple, because students in P5, they learn the science content from January all the way to October, even to the second week of October, then they take the exam. And we just take maybe about 9 months, from January to the end of maybe September, 9 months. But in P6, most of the school in the past, they have finished all the P6 content by April. But this year is very strange. Most of the students that I taught, their school are still teaching the P6 content. So this year is quite unique. Why is it unique? I'm not sure. Let's discover more as you continue to tune in to my One Academy Science YouTube channel. I will share with you the mystery. And this year, even up to now, today is the 20th of April 2026. Most schools have not finished their P6 content. So generally, I believe that by this year, the second week of May, they will have finished all the P6 content and they do revision. So we can take 5 months as a benchmark, or maybe 5.5 months to complete the P6 content. But in P5, they take 9 months to complete the P5 content. Therefore, if your child is weak in the P5 science examination, there is a good tendency that your child will benefit from my teaching or my coaching during this June holiday 3D intensive course, which I share more later. So from here you can see the majority of the weightage is in P5 content, 39.3% in the MCQ. What about open-ended question, which is my specialization of teaching, as I was a former MOE teacher. So I was representing one of the top schools in Singapore to mark the PSLE Science Section B or open-ended questions. Because MCQ, you do not need to mark manually, because it just fit into the OAS reader, optical answer sheet reader, and it can be marked very fast. But for open-ended question, this is my specialization, and we are trained to detect the errors, or maybe those things which the student left out. We need to honestly help to deduct the marks. And also, each script is actually marked by 2 examiners. So for example, after I have graded that questions, as you can, I give you some examples here. So you notice in the open-ended, also the same observation. In P5, it occupies the most number of marks of the 44 marks, because section A is, according to 28 questions, there'll be 56 marks. So 100 minus 56, we have 44 marks for section B. Of the 44 marks in section B, you notice in P5, it it contains 15 marks, that is about 34.1%. So there's a strong correlation in section A, 39.3, and section B, 34. If you average them, it's actually the total content in the PSLE examination last year, 2025. P5 content takes up 37 marks and P6 content 26 marks. If you add up these two numbers, you get 66%. So that's mean the lower primary content will be 34%. So the majority is still the upper primary. So let's go to page 20 and analyze what is this question 32. Page 20. This is a P6 question. So I mentioned about the 2 markers, right? So for example, here is state very easily, state 2 other functions of photosynthesis. So if I give a 1.5 mark and the other marker gave only 1 mark, we need to send this script to the chief examiner to determine whether this student should be awarded 1.5 or 1 mark, because there's a difference. So if there's no difference, the paper will consider mark accurately. For example, like question 2b. So if I marker number 1, I will use the green pen to mark, or the red pen, depending on the allocations. So normally the first marker is use red pen, the second marker use green pen. So in the past, if I'm the first marker, I will mark question 32b with the red pen first, and I award 2 marks. And then the second marker, I will just pass the script over to the second marker. But now, I think about 3 years ago, they go digital marking. That means all the scripts are scanning digitally, and then they're marked using the computer screen. So this is how PSLE Science open-ended questions are being marked. So let's go to page 20 of this question, which we have seen already, this question. And then we go to page 26. Another question is a P6 questions. So you notice in the 2025 PSLE Science examinations, both of these open-ended questions are 5-mark questions. Okay, are 5-mark questions. So this is how the PSLE examination being marked, and these are the questions which I've already categorized according to the level. So this is actually a P5 questions because it involves the electromagnetic. So I've already analyzed all these questions for you and your child. And if you need help, do not hesitate to register for this course, which I'm going to share screen with you very soon about this training. It's coming up soon. It's in June holiday. This is my so-called maybe the 11th year conducting this training, and I'm giving you 3 slots of timing. So run 1 will be from 3rd to 5th June, run 2 10 to 12 June, and run 3 17 to 19 June, because I reserved the last week for my family holiday. So this you can easily track first week of holiday, second week, and third week. And the timing is actually very conducive. In the morning, you can see here, is from 9:30. Have I put the time in? If I have not, then I should tell you now. It starts from 9:30 to 2 p.m. Okay, 9:30 to 2 p.m. Yes, down here, 9:30 to 2 p.m. Wednesday to Friday. The venue is at Bukit Timah Road, Upper Bukit Timah Road, Beauty World Center. Very conveniently located just next to the Beauty World MRT. So in the past, during my training, I have parents who are very helpful. They come all the way from Tampines, and they do carpooling for other students. So this course are limited to only 9 students per workshop. That's mean the class, there's only maximum 9 students. And do register early, because we also offer $20 discount per student if there are 2 or more register. So this is Mr. How are you? This course is very useful because I was a former HOD science in an international school using the Singapore syllabus, as well as I represent a top school in Singapore in the PSLE Science Section B marking. And I'm also very thankful that this year Casco has commissioned me to edit some of the books from P3 to P6 science. As you know that this year is the first year the P6 students are taking the new syllabus. So some of the content has been reduced. For example, in the content of this cells in P5 has been greatly reduced, and also certain topics. So I look forward for your registration, and my contact number is 82685299, 82685299, and this is my One Academy Science website. But due to my busy schedule, it hasn't been updated quite recently. But you can visit my One Academy Science YouTube channel, where you can actually see this video that will be uploaded very soon. One Academy Science YouTube channel. And this is Mr. How Are You, sending my greetings to every one of you, and I look forward to your registration fast. Take care, stay safe, God bless. Cheers.